Section 2. Reporting and documenting. UIs and MUIs. Unusual incident, UI. Reporting and documenting UIs. Agency providers are required to have written policies and procedures for reporting and investigating UIs. DSPs who work for agencies are trained on procedures for documenting and reporting UIs by their agency. All DSPs are required to complete incident reports. Independent providers must maintain a log of all UIs that includes name of the person, information about the incident including the day, time, and notes regarding injuries. What immediate actions were taken after becoming aware of the incident? What caused or contributed to the incident? And any preventative measures that were put in place to prevent the incident from happening again. Independent providers are required to review all UIs at least once per month to ensure appropriate preventive measures were implemented and to identify patterns or trends. Make reports, documentation of identified trends and patterns, and corrective action available to county boards of developmental disabilities and/or DODD upon request.
Scenario: Carmen. Carmen is a DSP who has been working with Alvin for a few weeks. Alvin's service plan requires him to have eyes-on supervision, meaning DSPs are always required to have him in their eyesight. After shopping for groceries, Alvin and Carmen head to the checkout line. As Carmen pays the cashier, Alvin walks away. Before he can make it to the front door, Carmen catches up to him. She checks that he is okay and talks to him about why he walked away and how they can stay together next time. Later, Carmen follows her agency's procedures for UIs and completes an incident report and sends the incident report to her supervisor. Scenario: Martin. Martin is a DSP who has been working with Brooke for a couple of years. Brooke is dropped off at home. She lets herself in and discovers her DSP Martin is not there to greet her as usual. She retrieves a snack from the refrigerator and goes about her afternoon routine. About 30 minutes later, Martin arrives. Due to heavy traffic, he is late. Martin checks on Brooke to make sure she is safe and does not need anything. Following his agency's procedures, he calls his supervisor to let him know about his late arrival. Later, Martin files an incident report with his agency's UI administrator, who adds it to the agency's UI log.
Major unusual incident. Reporting MUIs. DSPs should report possible MUIs as soon as possible. Some MUIs are required to be reported within 4 hours after the incident or discovery of the incident. Those are accidental or suspicious death, exploitation, misappropriation, neglect, peer-to-peer act, physical abuse, prohibited sexual relations, sexual abuse, verbal abuse. DSPs who work for agencies should check with their supervisor regarding their process for documenting and reporting MUIs. Independent providers are the ones who receive reports of MUIs as a designated MUI county contact. Service and support administrators, SSAs, once they become aware of a possible MUI via email, during a call, at a meeting, or during a home visit, they must follow their county's process for reporting MUIs. Documenting MUIs. MUIs require documentation that includes information about the MUI, such as the person's name, description of the incident, and the immediate action taken to protect the person. MUI documentation reports should be clear, legible, and easy to read. Agency providers often have their own forms for documenting MUIs, so DSPs that work for agencies may see different versions, depending on where they work. Required elements of an MUI report. Person's name, person's address, date and time of incident, location of incident, description of the incident, name of person completing the report, type and location of injuries, immediate action taken to protect the person. The primary person involved, PPI, also known as the alleged perpetrator, and their relationship to the person. Witnesses, statements completed by a person who witnessed the incident or had personal knowledge. Any notifications made to people include their name, title, and date and time the notification was made.
MUI investigations. All reports of MUIs require an investigation. The ultimate goal of the investigation is to make sure people with developmental disabilities are healthy and safe. To reach this goal, the investigation into a possible MUI works to identify the causes and contributing factors of the incident and to put a prevention plan in place to help reduce the likelihood of the incident happening again. As a DSP, it is important to understand that the goal of the MUI system is to gather information to better support the people receiving services. The MUI system helps everyone learn from what has taken place and works to make procedures and services better and safer. After an incident has been reported, someone from your agency or an investigative agent from a county board may contact you to find out more about the incident. Whoever is investigating the incident will try to identify what caused it or what contributed to it, so a person's team can work to prevent the incident from happening again. A cause or contributing factor can include DSPs being unable to communicate with each other, someone not being appropriately trained, or someone not having the required tools or support to carry out a certain task. If you are a primary person involved, or PPI, you may be placed on administrative leave during the MUI investigation, depending on the allegation. This does not mean you have done anything or are being reprimanded. It is simply done to protect both you and the person being supported during the investigation process. After determining the causes and contributing factors, the IA provides recommendations so the team can develop a prevention plan. The prevention plan identifies who is going to do what, when, where, and how. Prevention plans can include a variety of things, like finding better ways for DSPs to communicate with each other, or adding necessary training to educate those involved. Later, the IA will verify the prevention plan has been implemented.
Hello, my name is Ruth Watson and I work with the Sandusky County Board of Developmental Disabilities. I'm an investigative agent, or what we like to say as an IA. And my job is to look into incidents that adversely affect the health and welfare of individuals with developmental disabilities. My job is to work with providers and agencies and that whole team to look at cause and contributing factors so that we can prevent incidents from happening again. Mandatory reporters are all individuals that are certified, contracted, or licensed to provide services. So if they're providing any type of Medicaid service, they're a mandatory reporter. It could be your Special Olympics coach, obviously your DSPs, your SSAs, your physicians, the transportation drivers, anyone that's kind of working in that capacity of working with that individual, they are a mandated reporter. So MUIs are triggered by information that's coming to the investigative agent. It's not up to the provider or the DSP to determine, hey, this is an MUI. Their job is to report the incident, just like they would with any type of incident that's unusual for them. And once they report it, we'll look at that. That provider may be communicating with me and saying, hey, this incident I believe rises to that level. Can you look it over? And sometimes the IA will say, okay, can you gather a little bit more information, or what? I'm not quite understanding that. Can you gather that? And once it gets to that level, that IA will let the provider know, hey, it's an MUI, and then these are the next steps that we need to do.